Hi, I'm Greg Hunter, and this is the weekly news wrap-up for Friday, August 26th, 2011. Earthquakes, hurricanes, hitting the eastern part of the United States. The earthquake was felt in 22 states. Hopefully minor damage happened, but we did have some damage to the Washington Monument. There's now a 4-inch crack going up the side of it, and it's listing off to the side, kind of like the American economy. Now Hurricane Irene looks like it will strafe the East Coast. I hope not a lot of damage will happen with that, but it's got to be some if it hits the East Coast, and it's a pretty big hurricane. But my question is this: what black swan or totally random event might push the U.S. economy into another calamity? I don't know, and I hope this hurricane doesn't do it, but we are on financial thin ice. Libya. The Colonel Gaddafi regime is over, and I ask, wow, what next? And I have a lot of questions. For example, early on the rebels started a central bank. Who does that? That looks like foreign intervention if there ever was, and I wouldn't be surprised if the CIA and other foreign governments were involved in the execution of a plan that wasn't just to help the Libyan people. I think it's to help the West through oil, through the confiscation of their gold. Who knows, but this whole plan in Libya by the rebels stinks to high heaven. I don't think it's for the Libyan people. I think it's for Europe and for the United States. And the other thing that really gets my crawl, and that is this. Early on also, there were major connections between the rebels and Al-Qaeda. I mean, many publications did versions of stories that showed a link between Al-Qaeda and the rebels. One of the commanders fought against the coalition troops in Afghanistan, was captured in 2002, and then spent time in jail and later released in Libya in 2008. He was under American arrest, American control, and yet he's released in Libya in 2008, and now we have this uprising. Many publications covered this. So my question is, did we just give Al-Qaeda a country? And if so, why? I don't see good things happening for Libya. I know they're partying, I know they're all happy, but 1 in 5 are unemployed, 1 in 3 are under the age of 15, half the population is under 30, lots of young people without jobs, without hopes. It's not the breeding ground for peace and prosperity and democracy. I think we could end up with a theocracy that is far worse than Colonel Gaddafi could ever be. Bank of America. Listen, if there's ever one single stock that represents the country, that is Bank of America, and it is steadily going down. That bank's been in trouble. There have been calls to take it to receivership by important economic people. It has trillions of dollars in derivatives. It took over countrywide. It has a giant loan portfolio of troubled mortgages. It's had $200 billion taken off their books in toxic assets by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And now JP Morgan Chase is rumored to take it over. There'll be big government help with that. This is not a rumor. Warren Buffett is putting $5 billion into Bank of America. Did he get a call from the administration to, who has the money and who has the reputation to make Bank of America look like a good investment? Warren Buffett. I mean, after all, Warren Buffett got lots of government largeness through the bailout of the financial institutions in 2008. I mean, some of his banks that received government bailouts in some form or another, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, American Express, General Electric. And so, did he owe a favor back to the administration? I mean, here's a guy that's supposed to be this brilliant investor, and he's doing nothing but playing the bailout trade. He wants to raise the tax on rich people. I've got a better idea. Let's stop the bailouts, because had we not bailed out the financial community, which I think that's what should have happened, everybody should have got their comeuppance. They should have fixed their own problems. If they had to go to receivership and the executives had to be fired, then so be it. But had that happened, Berkshire Hathaway would have been decimated, and Warren Buffett would have had a pie in the face. So this whole thing with Bank of America, I think it's on thin ice. And I think they called Warren Buffett to say, hey, I'm putting $5 billion in it to prop it up. We shall see. And speaking of banks, another story that came out this week in the mainstream media saw this story as, hey, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation's troubled bank list fell by 23. Fell by 23. It went down to 865 banks that are in trouble. I mean, it went down by 23. What is that, 1.5%? Not even that? What they didn't say is 68 banks have failed so far this year and probably many more to fail. The banking system, whether it's big or small, is in trouble. It's being propped up by money printing, 0% interest rates, and phony accounting. You cannot have job creation without capital formation. And the only way to have capital formation is to fix the banks. Take it in receivership, do whatever you have to do, but get the banks healthy again and propping them up with phony accounting, 0% interest rates, and taking toxic mortgages off their books. That's not a way to get the banking system healthy. And finally, gold. It hit an all-time high this week, $1,900 an ounce plus. Then it sold off. People, the gold trade is over. Please. Unrest in the Middle East. Major economic problems in Europe. Major economic problems in the United States. See Bank of America. More problems in the Middle East that probably are coming down the pipe. I ask, who's next? Syria? Venezuela? Over on our side of the Atlantic? I don't know, but I know one thing. There are no problems that have been resolved or fixed. The gold trade, gold price is going to go up. The correction is going to be brief and shallow. And trust me, when gold went up $400 in the last couple of months, going down $130 is not much. So I say gold is going to go much, much higher from here, but it's not going to go up in a straight line. That's the way I see it. I'm Greg Hunter. Thank you for supporting USAWatchdog.com.